The elevators stood at the very end of the courtyard, big bronze cages suspended over a gash in the rock. The doors opened as they neared, seemingly of their own accord. Krasik hit a button, and they began their descent deep beneath the city and even deeper beneath the mountains. Rotanat seemed to grumble the entire way. Below was lit by thousands of lanterns built into the walls, the collective glow making it seem as though they were entering the core of the planet itself. The rumbling of the mining drills penetrated Haldron, like they were drilling into him instead. He moved to Krasik's side. "So what exactly is it you found?" He shrugged. "To be honest, we were hoping whoever they sent would be able to tell us." "Why did you contact the Guardians?" "We didn't. We contacted the Citadel. They said they would be sending someone, and then you turned up." Rotanat was shaking his head, though Haldron could hardly blame him. The mystery and the miner's unhelpfulness were becoming a little irritating. "What can you tell us about it?" Haldron asked. Krasik didn't answer, gaze unfocused and distant. "Did you say something?" "I said, what can you tell us about it?" Another shrug. "Not a lot. We found it this morning. I tell you, I've been working in these mines my entire life, and I've seen some strange things down here. But this is something else." "Where did you find it?" "In a cavern we just bored into. It's one of the deepest we've ever drilled. That's why we're taking the lift. It was just standing there, right at the bottom." "Is it still there now?" "No, we lifted it out and moved it to another cavern where we could get a better look at it. It's best if we don't talk anymore until we get there. The noise, you see, I can barely hear myself think." Rotanat shook his head some more. Even Benelin didn't seem to have much patience for the old man. They did their best to get comfortable as they watched the entrances to the tunnels scroll slowly by. Haldron noticed the staircases bolted into the walls, grateful to be taking the lift. He spent the time trying to figure out why the Citadel would send a Guardian for something that seemed to have nothing to do with what a Guardian was supposed to do. They should have been preparing to head out on patrol, not here. He was so absorbed in his thought he almost didn't notice the lift come to a stop. "We're here," Krasik said. "Though we still have a little way to go, we'll need to take a car." Haldron thought he heard Rotanat sigh. The entrance to the tunnel loomed like a portal to a world of never-ending darkness. Krasik pressed a button on the console by the track and a minecart came trundling out. They boarded the car and strapped themselves in. Krasik touched another button and then they were heading towards the portal. The pale lights lining the walls turned on just as they were about to be swallowed by the darkness. The car was a lot faster than the elevator. The many twists and turns made it seem like a roller coaster, zipping by entrance after entrance to tunnels all branching off from the main one, each likely stretching just as far. Haldron had known the tunnels ran for miles below the city, but he'd never truly appreciated the extent of the maze beneath their feet. It was only a few minutes before they were slowing down, and another few before they came to a complete stop. Haldron had tried to count the tunnels they'd passed. He'd lost count at about 2 dozen. Without a word, Krasik unbuckled his seatbelt and exited the car, and the Guardians did the same. "Is there much further?" Haldron hoped the answer would be no. "Not much. We still have a little walking to do." "This day just gets better and better," Rotanat muttered as he climbed out of the car. They headed into a tunnel that was just as wide as the one it branched from. Tracks ran along the center for the cars that entered empty and emerged filled to the brim with ore. They used one of the narrow walkways bolted into the wall. The clanking of their boots on the grates instantly got on Haldron's nerves. At least when patrolling transport tunnels, you walked mostly on rock that didn't clank with every step. "How deep are we?" Benelin asked. "About half a mile." The rumbling of the drills wasn't so loud here, and Haldron wanted some answers. "Perhaps now you can tell us more about what it is we're here for. You said it was strange. What exactly is strange about it?" "Just about everything," said Krasik. "What it looks like, where we found it." "What does it look like?" "A block, about 12 feet in height, pitch black in colour, perfect edges and geometries, surface completely untarnished. Not a single scratch or mark anywhere on it. It's remarkable." Haldron was intrigued. It did seem strange for something like that to be found down here, though he still couldn't fathom why it required his presence. "You said it was found at the bottom of a cavern?" Yes, but this was a newly entered cavern. It was the first time we drilled into it. We didn't even know it was there. There were no other entrances, natural or man-made, and no signs of there ever being one. That was puzzling. There were no other entrances? None. Before we broke through, there was no way in there, so how did it get there? It's obviously man-made, but how did whoever made it put it there, and why? This was getting stranger by the second. Haldron didn't like strange. No E-Ball did. Their kind had dedicated themselves to the acquisition of knowledge. The E-Ball didn't like not knowing things. The unknown was dangerous, and the notion of something being beyond their understanding was one that made most E-Ball shudder, Haldron included. Couldn't whoever put it there have sealed up the entrance afterward, Benelin asked. Not without leaving any trace, and like I said, we found nothing. We looked everywhere. The further they went, the more unsettled the miner seemed to become. Haldron was stumped. He understood the old miner's surprise at being sent 3 guardians. He was right. This was far beyond their expertise. It should have been someone from the research sector in their place. They were supposed to be patrolling the transport tunnels that linked Chintel to the other cities on the continent, protecting the capital from Trasani raiding parties and the other threats lurking beneath the mountains. They were guardians, not archaeologists. What did you do with it once you got it out of the cavern? Haldron asked. Nothing. We just stood it up in the other cavern and haven't touched it since. Nobody wants to go near it. Why not? The men are frightened of it, myself included. Something told Haldron before now Krasik Betrin had never admitted to being afraid of anything in his life. Why is that? It has a strange presence. The way it looms over you, it feels like it's bearing down on you, and when you look at it, it almost feels as if it's looking back. Haldron had no idea what to say to that. What had they found? They stopped by yet another circular door. Here we are. The Guardians watched as Krasik pressed a button on the console, and the door's machinery sprang to life. The quiet was pierced by the whirring of motors and the turning of gears, the Guardians forced to clasp their hands over their ears. Krasik didn't even flinch, no doubt long used to the noise. The door split into several smaller segments that disappeared into the wall with a screech that was practically deafening. Haldron held his ears so tightly he feared he might crush his own skull. The cavern was on the other side. The walkway extended all the way to the centre, the lake beneath rippling with the calm of something not beholden to the stresses of the world above. The LEDs running up the walls cast a ghostly shimmer over the black water, like moonlight. The network of beams and struts to keep it all from collapsing made it seem like they were standing inside the ribcage of some giant, long-dead creature. Krasik pointed straight ahead. There,